My name is David Harrison Grice. Welcome to the Grice Report, your unfiltered daily voice for truth. Tonight I'm going to be following up on that story that I told the other day about Silverio Villegas-Gonzalez, and I believe that he was murdered in cold blood. So before I get into that, the collaboration that I mentioned yesterday with the other podcast from Staten Island, New York, we actually did meet today and we did a collaborative episode. That'll be released sometime within the next few days, and I think you'll really enjoy it. So please stay tuned for that. So let's get into tonight's show. Silverio Villegas-Gonzalez. If you're familiar with that name, then you've been watching my show. If you're not familiar with it and you're new to the show, here's what happened in the backstory. So Silverio Villegas-Gonzalez was driving in Franklin, Illinois, Franklin Park, and he was pulled over, surrounded by ICE Gestapo agents that tried to pull him out of the car. He backed up very, very slowly. We see the officers step away, or what looks like the officer stepping away, and then we see him drive off, and then we hear gunshots and see his car plow into a truck. Well, now we have the perspective of the truck driver. In the NBC News, from the NBC Chicago news affiliate, they actually were able to get the body cam footage from Franklin PD, where they first arrived on the scene, and they interviewed both the ICE Gestapo agents that fired the shots of Silverio Villegas-Gonzalez, and they interviewed a truck driver into which this vehicle rammed after he was already likely dead or bleeding out because he was shot. So let's listen to that interview, and you can actually see what that scene looks like.
135 good FPI here. There is one subject shot.
As the first Franklin Park officer arrives, 2 ICE agents tend to the gunshot victim.
Tried to run us over.
The first words from these ICE agents, "He tried to run us over." The ICE team was attempting to pull over a vehicle driven by this man, Silverio Villegas-Gonzalez, an undocumented immigrant with no apparent criminal history. The officers and ICE officials say Villegas-Gonzalez resisted arrest, hit one of the officers with his car, and dragged the officer, quote, a significant distance before colliding with a truck driven by this man. The trucker was questioned on police body cameras, saying the suspect was trying to escape ICE officers.
They have pulled him over. They cut him off. They got off the car. They're trying to get him, but he reversed. Okay. And I was already pulling to the side. Yeah. And that's what, I don't know if they shot him beforehand.
ICE officials have said the officer involved was seriously injured. Coming up on NBC5 News at 6 p.m., we'll hear from the ICE officer at the center of this incident, and we'll look into who's investigating what happened on September 12th here in Franklin Park.
So even from the police body cam footage, what I see is 2 officers that are ambulatory. They're up, they're on their feet, they don't look badly injured. And that's important because the officer who fired the shot, who claimed he was fearing for his life, just came out and was like, nah, my injuries were not that bad. I got like a cut on my hand and a couple other things, but that's it. He's fine. He didn't fear for his life. He very likely killed Silverio Villegas-Gonzalez in cold blood. And the worst part is that he didn't have a criminal record. They lied about that. And this is why we can't trust the ICE Gestapo. So we're going to be keeping our eyes on all of this because we don't know exactly what's going to happen yet. But we're going to keep our eye on the investigation, and I hope that Governor Pritzker pushes to make sure that this investigation goes to criminal court and he gets tried for murder. So if you like what you're hearing tonight, please remember to like, subscribe, and down here I have an email address, thegricereport@gmail.com. Again, that's thegricereport@gmail.com. Please send us any tips, leads, story requests, any feedback that you might have. And if you have any videos of any of your interactions with the ICE Gestapo or music festivals, we are happy to air that as well. And please do hit that subscribe button and that bell because it helps us get the news out there. And we do release episodes every night at 8 p.m. So please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell so you're alerted when we release new content. So let's move on. Number 1, don't forget the missing of Alligator Auschwitz, because there are a lot of people still missing that are unaccounted for, and we need to push for transparency and accountability. So now on to a little bit of a win. I know this is a little bit of a whiplash considering the heavy topics we just talked about, but we have a little bit of good news, which is nice for a change. So the AP News reported that there was a Democratic candidate who won for a congressional seat from Arizona for U.S. Congress. Adelita Grijalva, she filled an empty seat that was previously held by her father, who unfortunately passed away in office. Now, this is a Democratic seat, and she has signed on to a document stating that she will actually do her best to push for a release of the full Epstein files. So if we're one step closer to the release of the files, one step closer to taking back the House, midterms 2026, get out the vote. So just to finish off this episode, I want to talk about what happened this morning. So in Dallas, Texas, the ICE Gestapo camp in Dallas, Texas was shot up by an individual. I'm not going to say who it was, name the name, show the face. I don't believe failure of an FBI director and frequent fantasizer Kash Patel's story. So I'm going to see how the investigation plays out, because the last time they were wrong too. But I want to highlight is that they released a picture of the bullets inscribed with anti-ICE right after Trump signs an executive order saying that anti-fascism is terror. Yeah, that's about as believable as the rest of the nonsense that you post on social media, buddy. Number one, you shouldn't be posting that. Number two, no one believes it. And number three, if it were up to me, everything in an investigation would stay confidential. It would go to discovery. It would go to trial. Once it goes to trial, that's when it becomes public, and that's when everybody gets to see it. But while you're in the course of an investigation, presenting these kinds of things to the public will just jeopardize the safety and security of the investigation. And it will also allow for more red herrings, more people to do these kinds of things, more decoys, these things that it's throwing a wrench into the mix, which could have been a straightforward investigation, because this individual who fired the shots, they're claiming he killed himself. And if that's the case, then they already know his identity and they already know the story. All they have to do is do some digging in his computers and talk to his friends and everything else. They don't need to show the bullets on social media. That's just bad investigating. And if Kash Patel got his law enforcement training and knowledge and information from any other source but television, he would understand that you don't do that. That's jeopardizing the investigation, and it's also going to lower our confidence in law enforcement. And you're FBI, dude. You're supposed to be like top tier law enforcement for America. And guess what? We see you as a giant joke. So thank you for watching the Grice Report. This is David Harrison Grice. Thank you for joining the Resistance, and have a great night.